So thank you for joining us today on part 2 of this podcast. So we are live on RU Radio. So the first podcast was all about the media information literacy and the future of it. So on this second podcast on the students round table, we will be discussing on the literacy, on the latest news and media literacy, information literacy. So on set today, I have 4 of my colleagues. So I would like for them to introduce themselves first.
Thank you so much. My name is Nelly Kithinji.
My name is Ngotek Philip, SCJ 142 2021. Yeah.
I'm Anna Kinyochieng, SCJ 155 2021.
I'm Chapter Fate, SCJ 053 2021.
Okay, my name is Agrey Karani, and we kick off this conversation with these questions. So, how has news changed in the past years, and how do we see this news, the trends in the changing media landscape in the past years?
Yes, concerning that, the news has changed in terms that the old media is not dominating as before. We can see that we can consume news from different online platforms.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch the TV, you don't have to listen to radio. Going through your social media platforms, you can be able to get what is going on. Yes.
So, Anne. So, Philip, how has this really impacted the role of social media in news intake?
Okay, first, I feel like nowadays the generation that we have is very lazy.
Yeah,
it comes to reading the news on, like nowadays people don't use a lot of newspapers. I mean, they will use a lot of like social media platform, like Twitter, Facebook, X. I mean, there's this on like TikTok.
Yeah.
Like the most of information are being disseminated in social media platforms.
So, like for us, this generation right now, we are online.
So, like we are digital, like generation. Yeah.
So, Anne, how do you think this change in media landscape has really helped us as journalists or as personnel?
Okay, to me, I think information is, it has helped to get reliable information in that we have so many social media platforms that are easy to access. Since, journalism, it's changing, and nowadays people depend on online media.
Yeah.
Like we have platforms such as X. This is where you see this young generation, most of them are in X and they find information there.
So let us just talk about now the social media parts. X, Facebook, TikTok. So how do we differentiate between misinformation, the fake news that are on those platforms, Jepto?
Okay, first you have to ensure that your sources are reliable. Always verify the information. And sometimes all the...
Can you increase your voice?
Okay. Not all the news you see on social media is really true, because nowadays everyone can access social media. So when there is any trending topic, anyone can post it. So you have to verify your sources first and fact check the information.
So Nelly,
Yes.
have you encountered any of these fake news example?
Yes, I have encountered so many fake news. A recent example being the letter that was spreading through the social media platforms that the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has resigned when he was facing the impeachment motion. Yes.
So when we really encounter these fake news, how should we react to them? How should we handle this information?
First, I don't think it is right to continue spreading the letter. You have to go to the verified sources to ensure that to check the credibility of the letter that is spreading.
And like Mr. Agri, like nowadays if you see this fake news, like that letter, it was like it sound like it was so real. Like it had even the signatures and everything.
So let's say we have seen this letter is fake. How can I know that?
First
this
of all,
letter
how
is
can
fake?
it's fake
Yeah.
first?
How can I know?
think first of all is the way the information being disseminated. Where did it come from? Is it from the deputy president, like social media accounts, or the office? If that's not the case, first of all, you need to like to say like this is not real.
So what should we do next now in order to really curb this
Karani, I
misinformation?
think one has to fact check. Like you have to be familiar with these social media platform websites. Like for example, the Snoop. You see, at least from that point, you will know if the news is true or it's false. Like you will know, you will have the knowledge to differentiate false news and the one that is true.
So, Chepto, on still this fake news,
first you need to use the social media as in websites, for example, like Snopes, to verify the information if it's true.
Also, there's this thing of like what kind of like, let's see example, let me see Citizen TV. Like if that information is not in Citizen TV like accounts, probably you like to understand like I don't trust where the news came from. Like
so, let's say like we should try really look at this media where the information is coming from.
Google, because the trending news about the impeachment of Gachagua. If you go and Google now, you will find that they have updated it like it is a true news. They have updated it there that he was a deputy.
So on let's stay on this misinformation and fake news, but let us now talk about the media outlets now themselves. So are these media outlets also biased in some extent?
I think I can say yes.
How?
Our media houses. To say, okay, for example, I'm sorry. For example, some media houses like let's say Citizen, there's some news of politicians that they will not air out, and you will find that the nation media, the Nation Group will air the news. So
how
I think journalists, yes,
I think
to some extent they are biased.
How are we going to handle this now?
I think it's much more of like media, like censorship, like the kind of media. Like let me take an example, and just an example. I can provide this information like this. Sometimes KBC cannot give information like wrong about the government, right?
Yes.
No matter how much the government is, how bad it is. Or sometimes they say like the time of election. You remember the election that the Citizen TV like is more another side of Azimio. So it's all about, it's like censorship. Like the kind of the one who is honoring the company is more of that side.
Karani, to add on what Anna said, like some of these like
Media stations,
media houses, some are owned by politicians, like so sometimes these people control the information that are being aired in their channels.
Yes, on that concerning biasness, I think most of the media platforms are biased in the way they select their stories. For instance, you'll find that some news stories are one-sided. The framing of the issues that they are talking about, omission of some facts, you'll find that they are airing what favors one side.
But agree, to some extent, I do disagree. Because do you remember that case of that time when we had protest? There are time where the government ordered KTN to be shut down. You remember? So to that on that point, I think sometimes I don't know how to put it, but the government, like.
Is it the government is very involved in bias
controlling the station?
The owners of the media stations.
But I think the most proposed solution for this all is all about like ensure let journalists be like let them be let me say truthful or
so let's say it should start with us
Yes,
before
yeah.
it goes to the media station itself.
Let's give good information or trustworthy, like
so
accurate information.
Okay, for it starting with us, then how is our education system helping? Is the education system helping?
Yes. It is. For instance, in our curriculum, for instance, here at Rongo University, this podcast that we are doing is for the media information literacy course. So by including the media information literacy as a course in the curriculum, it is helping enlighten the students, so they are able to do to know how to verify information and so on and so forth.
Okay, in verification, but how is this meal helping us in the biased angle?
Okay, agree. In the bias, this, for example, let's say in that case of government being involved, we can't escape that because these people are above us. So you just have to stand on your own, like you be truthful to yourself.
Be fired
because sometimes it can cause your work by the way.
But the thing is all about like let's ensure, like let's follow the rules, the code conduct of being as a journalist. Let's just be truthful, like they're not being honest, like let's ensure, like let's follow those elements, like
So on that, let's go to the part of the visuals now on online. So how do you identify that this visual is really correct or this one is fake?
Okay, first of all, it's like there's more of charts and infographics that are coming nowadays. So like you just find like even in gazettes they found like they give like how the parliament did the information and everything, but people are also very using AI to erupt these issues. Like sometimes you find like like there's this picture that trended some while part. The deputy president was in the window seeing the president of Kenya receiving, I don't know which was the
so England King,
like to look like so real.
Photoshop.
So I think people are also using these videos and audio visuals to I think to bring a lot of misinformation.
Nowadays the AI is affecting the information being passed. So we can just use websites or maybe some information sometimes.
And how is these visuals, how is this power of these visuals really affecting how we communicate as journalists? So the use of maybe cartoons, the use of these other parts, how are they helping us in communication as journalists?
Some other cartoons actually pass the information. For example, politicians, as in when you see in the newspaper, sometimes they use cartoons, and sometimes the shape and the design of these cartoons speaks a lot even before you reach the content of that.
And they really help in the spread of the information.
Also there's this, like it enhances the story engagement, like also like it ensures like it package a lot, like
the cartoons have a lot of information, like give a foreshadow of something that is going to happen.
And agree, I think these cartoons they also help if you don't want to get more if you don't want to get yourself into more problems, like for example, you see in this Kenya, this government, we see the government, they are laundering money. So as a journalist, you will use a big cartoon, big cartoon and a small one. The small one will be begging. So the small one will represent us as a nation, and the big one is now the government, they are laundering money, and us we are still poor.
I think
that if for a journalist, like it will help people to understand.
It's
at least
actually easy to understand.
Like you'd find like just around 3 drawings like can explain a lot of a big story, like so good. Like,
so for example, there was a cartoon in Nation a few weeks ago where they showed how DP Gashagwa was being kicked out of State House. So actually, for me, I feel like the cartoons sometimes give us a foreshadow of what is going to happen.
Even in the case of Bishop Kawira Mwangaza impeachment, you could see the infographics of the MCAs trying to throw Kawira Mwangaza out of the office.
They are funny at some point.
So again, let's go to the international news and local news. So what is the significance of these global news to us as journalists and as listeners, really?
Okay, for me, I think for the global news, we as the journalists, we are the voice of the community, we are the eye of the community.
Yeah.
So if we are able to assess the global news, we can be able to bring it down to our audiences who don't have maybe access to. So for example, we have even vernacular stations which can help break down to ule mtu wa chini kabisa mwenye maybe hana access ya what is happening internationally. So if we can be able to assess the global news, we can be able to break it down to the people down there.
So, like, let's talk about the election in the US.
The upcoming election.
The upcoming election in the US. So, how is media helping us in Kenya to really know what's happening there?
Okay, you're too late. Okay, let me say, like, we have given that to Larry Madoa. Like, just receiving information from Larry Madoa.
Yeah.
But I feel like, apart from the Kenyan's government, like, we are really trying to give the Kenyans the information about the US, but I feel like they're engaging in the propaganda, the fight between, I forget his name, Donald Trump and the Kamala Harris. I think they are not giving us the more details, what is happening on the ground. They're just giving out William Trend, like someone has been tried to be shot, assassinated. I mean, they're not giving the real information.
I think global news, they are helping us as journalists to keep up with the trends. Like, for example, if I may ask, how many people know here what is happening now in Lebanon?
Gaza.
There is
very few people.
There is a very serious fight, and at least for those journalists, au wenye wako huko wanafanya, at least tunajua what is happening there.
At least they help us stay informed about international events.
But before, but I just like, do you feel like the international, not this international media, but I think the big media, let's now use the social media. I think we are receiving a lot of information in the social media
more than
actually. More information, more of this information is in TikTok.
TikTok and X.
More than what the BBC, the CNN, the Al Jazeera are giving us. So it's time, like, we see that the media is going the social media part.
It's growing.
But I feel like also, I think so the media conduct is also like it is like inazuia for more like those media station to give out some information, like some content cannot be aired, so but social media cannot so much limit. But I think that's one of the issues that making this bigger media station not to air everything.
And nowadays you find that you can find a trending information first on X or TikTok, but easy kwa kwa media houses, for example Citizen or NTV, you will just hear it later, but the first approach, it will be maybe on TikTok or X.
And what about our local stations? We have talked about the BBC, the CNN, the Al Jazeera. What about our local stations? The Citizen, the Lizzy, the Gatembe. What are they doing to keep us informed?
They provide a broader perspective for local news about our daily impacts, our day-to-day life.
Okay, like first, do you always listen to these local stations?
Not really.
Why?
Okay,
you see local there for the community. Like, for example, Rongo. We have a radio station in Rongo. So it will deal with things that are happening in Rongo. So
like yesterday I was listening to this Masai station. I was like live streaming. So I listened, they give, by the end of the news, they also give the international news, and they give the information, although they were not that broad, but they give at least the information to the about the people.
So the main thing here is, for local TV or radio station, they focus on things that are happening in the community. So maybe we can
so, and what is now the future of journalism in the broader perspective now?
Okay, about the future of journalism, to start with, I think it is our role. This is where media information literacy come in. The future of journalism now, it's shifting to the internet perspective, online perspective, and this is where media information literacy comes from, whereby people have to have those set of skills and knowledge that enables them to critically analyze, evaluate, and create media content that is credible to the consumers. So with the media shifting to the online era in the coming future, it is good that people have these skills to be able to analyze and evaluate.
Philip?
Like just my colleague said, like we are moving to more of digital and internet. But I feel like, okay, it's me. The future is like there's a lot of crisis coming up. I mean, the use of AI can erase everything. Nowadays, let's be honest, you can find even a robot nowadays that can anger news. Let's be honest.
It's
even
true.
like even they can write news for them. Even they can edit news. I feel like they like as journalists, we really need to work on, because the AI really they may come to take over everything.
And agree to add on that. You see, before many people used to listen to radio and newspaper. They were like, you can see then the amount of the number of people used to read newspaper at, like, back then there were so many people, but nowadays you see people are more of social media, these online things. So to me, I think journalism is something that is growing. To say in the next 10 to 15 years, what is happening now, it will be more like it's something that is growing. We are moving to digital world.
Also, a lot of citizen journalism have become many. Like everyone is nowadays a journalist.
To add on what she said, like right now everybody can access news in social media, so I guess in the near future all the information will be accessed in social media. So the media information literacy will help people to know the ways of combating misinformation and always verifying sources, because right now it's so hard for someone to actually listen to a news presenter or to concentrate on the news. They just get the information in social media.
Just to ask a question, like, do you guys see there is a future for the print media? I mean, like, is this the hope for the print media?
Yeah.
For
print media.
Print,
I don't think so,
print media, it will maybe develop.
But for me, I feel like people find print media to be a bit tiring. Perusing
because
through,
of reading.
Yes, and now everybody wants kila kitu inakuwa hapa kwa mkono. Unaona. So I don't think the people who used to go around the street buying newspapers are reducing each and every day.
Even the newspapers are reducing the pullouts now.
Exactly. And then another thing, if you go to radio stations, you will find that in radio stations or TV stations, they have sessions in the morning whereby they go through the newspapers. So they have already broke down what is in the newspapers. So what is the essence of me going to buy again, you see? So now I think the print media is
really dead.
Unless they change the way, like,
which is very hard.
Change to
but there are printed information in social media.
So like in short, newspaper is going online.
Like but also people are becoming very lazy in reading. The other day I saw someone was reading a very long WhatsApp message, and I was like, bros, you reduce to like just make it some few words.
So like people don't want long messages.
They don't want bulk messages.
They just want the short
and clear to the something that you just understand easily.
That's why this generation lack knowledge.
So what steps should we as media personalities take in order to stay literate and to stay media literate and informed?
Okay, I think let's go back. I think for me, let's advise everyone, let's go back to the old ways. Let's read books. Let's read the newspapers. Let's engage in public speakings and everything, so that we can enhance our, like, let's know what's right, what's wrong, what is the good news and the bad news. So I think let's go back to the old ways.
It's time for people to go back to
the old ways.
Any other way that we can encourage the media literacy?
One should know how to verify news.
You can teach them ways of combating fake news. Like they can use digital literacy, which is
checking
credibility of sources and recognizing bias.
Okay. So any steps that us as journalists can take in order to really do this?
Okay, for me, I think as a journalist, knowledge is power. Let's take time to be up to date with what is happening. There is no way I'm the journalist, I'm your voice, I'm your eye. We are getting, for example, something has happened and I'm the one supposed to give the news and we are hearing them at the same time. We should be ahead of others to be able to get those information and break it down to others. Also, in terms of spreading news, we should be cautious enough in what we are spreading, because we are the ones that determine how people perceive information, their interpretation, and so on. So it's good to have this knowledge so that we can be able to do things the right way as the face and the voice of the community.
According to me, I think we should just utilize the fact-checking websites and tools.
Okay, so as we finish, I think I should give each one of you time to really give your mind on what you think about this media literacy issue. Yeah, we start with you, Chepto.
Okay, I think nowadays we should always verify the information, and all the news everyone can access the news, so we should just start with us in making sure that the information as journalists are passing to the people is verified.
Okay, and
okay, to me, a journalist is an eye to the society, so a journalist should be informed. You should be much informed, updated, and you should know how to verify news. So to me, I think this media information literacy will make someone to be more knowledgeable, like will make a journalist to be more knowledgeable concerning the fake news, misinformation, and dissemination, to make him not to get himself or herself into more problems.
Okay, Philip.
Okay, and this media literacy week is coming up soon. I just like to tell every journalist, let's just remain relevant. That's all. Just remain relevant.
Okay, nice one.
All right, and for me about media information literacy in our schools, I think this is where in school this is where we get knowledge. So in our schools, we should focus more on equipping students with the ability to critically analyze media content, assess information effectively, and understand how media systems function, especially in the era that information moves so quickly and so on. So if you're taught here in school and you have the knowledge, when you go out there, you'll be able to do the things the right way, and also be a positive influence to the other people in the society. So you should start here in school so that you can be able to educate others like we are doing now.
I think for me it's time that all of us just teach each one of us about these media information literacy issues and how to really do the verification, the misinformation, the disinformation, how to do away with those issues. So from me, Agre Karani, I have been with Neri Gidinji, Philip Ngotiek, Anisi, and also Faith Chepto. My name is Agre Karani. Until next time, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.